Welcome back, focus learners, to The Explainer. We're going to dive into this beautiful story from a small, quiet village. Picture green fields, warm sunlight, the whole shebang, about a boy who discovered the true, life-changing power of deep focus. So, have you ever let the judgments of others distract you from your goals? I want you to really think about that for a second. How many times have you stopped yourself or just felt your confidence completely drain away simply because you were worried about what someone else might say? It's an incredibly relatable feeling, right? We've all been there. And it's exactly what the subject of our source material today was going through. To figure out how to overcome this, we really have to look at his journey. Section 1. A boy named Raghav and the burden of expectations. Raghav was a sincere and incredibly hardworking boy, and this brilliantly illustrates his demanding daily routine. Let's actually walk through this timeline together. Every single morning, this kid woke up before the sun even rose. He walked out to the fields, plowed the soil, watered the plants, and worked until sweat was literally covering his entire body. Only after all that grueling physical labor did he come home, wash up, and begin to study. He loved learning, but, his days were just exhausting. At night, he'd study under this tiny, small lamp, squeezing every last drop of energy he had left into his education to prep for his 12th grade exams. Now, because of this visible dedication and his natural intelligence, the entire village ended up placing an immense amount of pressure on him. Everyone believed Raghav would top his exams. They had absolute, unwavering faith in his intelligence. And Raghav, well, he absorbed that expectation. He tried his absolute best, working those fields by day and studying under that tiny lamp by night. He was carrying not just his own dreams, but the super heavy expectations of his entire community. Section 2. The weight of failure and what happens when the sky falls. Because, you see, when the results finally came in, Raghav had failed one subject. It was just one subject. But man, to him and to the village, it truly felt like the sky had collapsed. You can just imagine the crushing weight of that moment. All those early mornings, all those late, exhausting nights, and he fell short. But honestly, the worst part wasn't the failure itself. It was the reaction of the people around him. Every day, when Raghav walked to the fields, the people who once praised him were now throwing these incredibly sharp words at him. They would whisper, "Look, the smart boy who failed. He can't even pass one subject. All his confidence is useless." The source tells us their words were like thorns. And while outwardly Raghav stayed completely silent, inwardly, his heart was just breaking. The noise of their judgment was literally destroying him. Section 3. Seeking Kareem's wisdom and the teacher's strange task. Okay, let's dive into this. Finally, one evening after another long, exhausting day, Raghav simply couldn't take it anymore. He reached his breaking point. So he went to visit his mentor, Teacher Kareem. Raghav confessed all his pain, explaining that he just could no longer tolerate the mockery and laughter from the villagers on his daily walk. Teacher Kareem, this old man with kind eyes, he just nodded slowly and gave him this exact, bizarre instruction. He said, "Take a large pot, fill it completely with milk, and walk through the same path. Not even one drop must fall. Not a single drop." Now, naturally, Raghav was incredibly confused. Why would his teacher ask him to do something so strange when he was in so much emotional pain? But out of deep respect for his mentor, Raghav agreed to give it a try. So, the next morning, the sun rose gently over the fields. The birds began to sing, the village started waking up, and Raghav did exactly as he was told. He filled a big pot with fresh milk right up to the very top. It was full, heavy, and completely still. He held the pot so carefully with both hands and stepped outside. He had to take very, very slow steps. The pot felt shaky in his hands. He knew that even one small mistake meant the milk would spill. And as he walked, the villagers were already standing on the sides of the path, waiting to mock him, waiting to laugh, ready to judge. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the profound internal shift that happens next. Before this lesson, Raghav was listening to the villagers, absorbing their whispers, and feeling completely crushed. But during this walk with the milk, something totally different happened. He couldn't hear the villagers at all. His eyes were completely fixed on the pot. His hands were steady. His breath was slow and careful. All he saw was the milk. All he heard was his own heartbeat. All he felt was focus. The faces of the villagers, they simply disappeared. Section 4. The power of deep focus and silencing the noise. So the world around Raghav had literally become a complete blur. The absolute loudest laughs from the villagers had sounded like nothing more than faraway echoes. And guess what? In the end, Raghav reached the fields without a single drop falling. He walked back to his mentor and confessed that he was so laser-focused on the pot, he hadn't heard a single thing on the way. Teacher Kareem smiled gently at this success and delivered this incredibly profound truth. When you focus deeply on your work, your goals, your dreams, your purpose, people's words lose their power. Their noise becomes meaningless. Raghav had been listening to the villagers way more than he had been listening to his own heart. Carrying that pot of milk taught him that a mind focused on its target becomes completely, 100% untouchable. So the crucial point is this. Deep focus isn't just about working hard. It's an actual state of mind where your target becomes so incredibly clear that all the external noise just becomes meaningless. And this realization, it changed Raghav forever. He felt this brand new calmness and a solid new strength. He stopped worrying about what others said. He started preparing for his exams again, working harder every single day. His fear completely disappeared, his confidence returned, and his heart became so much stronger. The village around him didn't change at all, but Raghav did. And honestly, that made all the difference. One early morning, watching the sunrise touch his face with that golden light, Raghav just smiled. Because he finally understood. It's exactly like a camera blurring the background. You don't actually have to fight the noise. You just have to focus so sharply on what's right in front of you that the noise naturally fades out of view. That, right there, is the true power of focus. Section 5. Your milk pot, and applying Raghav's lesson. Let's move to and see how this builds into something we can all use. Because look, we all have our own version of those villagers standing by the path, right? Whether it's actual people doubting us or just the pressure and self-doubt we carry around in our own minds. When that noise gets too loud, you have to remember Raghav's story and follow these exact steps. Step 1, take a deep breath. Just slow down your physical reaction, just like Raghav had to slow his breathing. Step 2, hold your milk pot steady. That means identifying your goal, your dream, your immediate purpose, and fixing your eyes entirely on it with steady hands. And step 3, let the background fade. Stay focused, stay strong, and allow everything outside of that singular goal to blur into a meaningless echo. I want to leave you with this final, really important thought to carry with you. What is your milk pot, and what noise will you silence today? Seriously, identify that goal, protect it fiercely, focus on it so deeply that you become entirely untouchable. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your hands steady, keep your eyes on the target, and I will absolutely see you next time.